Oh, you just pressed play on This Week with Drunk Astrology. My name is Breitenstein. I'm your astrologer and the creator of Drunk Astrology. If you're looking for someone to make astrology make sense to you and for you, well, my friend, you have come to the right place. Here on this podcast, we discuss the weekly cosmic weather. And when we break it down, we break it down. I believe that astrology can be used as a tool to inform your daily decisions and enhance your day-to-day life. So if you're ready to have a hell of a lot of fun with astrology, make some strategic decisions, and to just keep it real, well, that journey starts right now. Well, way down yonder on the Chattahoochee, it gets hotter than a hoochie coochie. We laid rubber on the Georgia asphalt. We got a little crazy, but we never got caught. Down by the river on a Friday night, pyramid of cans in the pale moonlight. Talking about cars and dreaming about women. Never had a plan, just a living for the minute. Yeah, way down yonder on the Chattahoochee. Never knew how much that muddy water meant to me. But I learned how to swim and I learned who I was. A lot about living and a little about love. A lot about living and a little about love. Happy July, Astro lovers. It is a month filled with love, reflection, nostalgia, and don't you worry, we're gonna do things a little bit different in this here podcast because we're gonna go through the month and talk about some highlights, things to look forward to, things to be aware of, dates that you should have in that agenda, that schedule, that pocketbook, or just filed in the back of your memory brain space. We're going to do that this time. We're still going to talk about the week, but I want to talk about the month. So, let's just get the overall vibe here, okay? We're going to talk about the overall vibe of the month. Then we're going to talk about the overall vibe for the week. Now, the month as it stands is a relationship renaissance. Hello, Beyonce, we're looking at you, girl. It's a relationship renaissance because Venus, the planet of love, relationship, money, desire, stations retrograde. Now, she only does this every 2 years. So when she does it, boy, do we feel it. Now, I will go ahead and say, listener, if you are a Taurus or a Libra, or you have major planets and points in Taurus, Libra, Leo, or any of the fixed signs, Leo, Aquarius, Taurus, Scorpio, here's looking at you, kid. Venus is talking to you in a very potent way because she's in the sign of Leo. So if you're a Leo, Venus is looking at you. But what is Leo? A fixed fire sign. So that means we gotta look to the other fixed babies. Aquarius, Taurus, Scorpio. But we also have to look at Taurus and Libra because they are the signs ruled by our lovely love goddess, Venus. So this is a potent time. Now, when we talk about Mercury retrogrades, you know I love to say, here's looking at you, Virgo Geminis, or anybody that have strong Virgo Gemini in your birth chart. This is why I'm looking at Taurus, Libra, and all the other fixed signs. Because Venus is your ruler as a Taurus or Libra, or if you're a Taurus, Libra rising, Moon, Mercury, Mars. If you've got a... Here's actually looking at me, kid, because yours truly has a Leo Venus in my birth chart. So I am not only having my Venus return, My Venus return is going to be long drawn out because of this retrograde. Now, that's just one highlight. Now, okay, let me I'm just imagining someone's saying like, well, what is a Venus retrograde? Well, take the theme of the planet: love, relationship, money, desire, compromise, sensuality, sexuality, in the sign of Leo, fun, spontaneous, adventure, wearing your heart on your sleeve, your wants, your needs. Stepping into the authentic expression of who you are and what you're after. That's the combo there. Those themes kick it in reverse. So now it's time to reflect. And it's time to dip into a little bit of nostalgia. That can show up internally, but you should also anticipate some external invitations to explore these themes. It shows up as an ex showing up. It shows up as someone who you used to care about or maybe is no longer in your life. They pop back up in some way, shape, or form. It can also show up as you thinking about the way things were or the way that relationship felt. It doesn't have to be romantic, but Venus does really yank on relationships of high priority. So if you're someone that's like, well, I have like these intense, heartwarming relationships with my friends. They're platonic, but they are relationships I deeply care about. If there was any kind of issues in those relationships, they can come up now. Old relationship patterns can come up now. What we have to be careful of this month in particular, because Neptune has just stationed retrograde too, and Neptune is illusion and it's delusion. And we can get caught with this planetary combo here. We can get caught in patterns of behavior that are self-sabotaging. Okay, we could go back if you have any kind of background with addiction in any way. Neptune retrograde can play on that for the next 5 months. It can be tempting, but you're stronger than that. You're bigger than that. Neptune retrograde that's more low form. High form is at a reevaluation of the dream that you want to be reality, right? Whatever that is, whether it's a dream job, it's a dream house, it's a dream car. It's whatever your dream is, whatever you're lusting after. These two merge now, okay? But Neptune stationed right here just before the 1st. On the 30th of June is when Neptune stationed. So even as we go into this week, we still have to include the Neptune fog, the delusion, the lack of clarity, the sleepiness, the exhaustion, the potential temptation to dip back into a pattern of behavior that's not serving your highest good. It's a possibility. I want to remind you that everything that we discuss in these podcasts, this week with Drunk Astrology and A Daily Dose of Stars, these are general reads. I do want to just blanket that out there because this is overall energy that we discuss. When we get more granular is when we enter our one-on-one birth chart readings, okay? I'm going to be opening my books. I know I've been saying that, but the pool party and the events surrounding it and just, these aspects are also taking place over here too. No astrologer or healer is exempt. We all feel this energy some way. So it's been a lot going on. And of course, now with Neptune retrograde, it's like, well, when's it going to happen? So don't worry, that's going to happen. But we also now have the question this month of what does success mean to you? What does it look like? We start this week and also at the top of the month with a Capricorn full moon. Capricorn is all about success, ambition, and the balance between home and work life. So does success look like overworking and not really having a personal life? Or is success to you a healthy balance of the two? There's one thing to be super successful in terms of financial success, professional title, professional trajectory, promotions and raises. That's very likely for some of us under the Capricorn full moon in the first 2 weeks of July. But it is a deeper question of asking yourself, what does success look like to me? And what does it mean to me? Are you soft just as much as you are hard? Or are you too hard and need a little bit of tenderness in your life? Or on the other flip side of that, are you too nurturing? Are you too giving? And you actually need to learn boundaries. These are questions as we enter this month with a Capricorn full moon and then 2 weeks later a Cancer new moon where it's all about the softness. But you've got to evaluate where you are in terms of a successful work life and a successful home life and how the two, if they do, merge together. This month also, we see a shift towards prioritizing daily work, your organization, your ability and willingness to prioritize what's most important. And then also health and wellness, a routine. We see Mars and Mercury this month shift into Virgo. And that's where these themes kick into high gear. And I'm calling, as far as when Mars enters Virgo, it's like micro-dosing your health and wellness. It's not about this like, yes, you can start a 60-day plan, a 90-day plan. I'm just thinking of this in like in workout programs. You can enter that, but it's more about your daily activation, your daily action towards something that contributes to your overall sense of health and wellness. Now, mid-month, we have a big shift. Anybody out there with the nodes of fate in your birth chart, and they're in the sign of Taurus and Scorpio. This is a biggie because you're an astrologer. Hello, my hand is raised. I do have my nodes in Taurus and Scorpio. So since November of 2021, if you've got Taurus Scorpio nodes in your birth chart, so whether you are 18, 19, or you are where I'm at, between the ages of 36, 37, 38, likely, these are age ranges, because that's how it has to be, because we're talking general. So if you're anywhere between those ages, let's just say 17 to 19, 18, 19, 36 to 38, your nodal return is coming to an end this month. And that, nodal return. Let's talk about these like bigger transition moments, or these bigger planetary returns. There's a lot of different ones at different ages that we all experience. It's just we got to hit those ages. So when you hit 8 to 9 years old, you have your first nodal opposition. Well, the nodes of fate are about your sense of purpose, what you're longing for, what you need to release, what you need to let go of. So at 8, 9, you kind of get that first hit of like, well, at 7, you got a Saturn square, and that's where you start self-actualizing as a individual outside of your caregiver. But then 8 to 9, following that, this nodal opposition shows up as like I think I want to draw birds. This was something that I used to do when I was around this age range. I loved art and I loved creativity, and I loved nature. So I would sit in the bushes outside of our screened-in porch drawing birds. So that's when I first got the creative hit. It's also when I started having my first like spiritual experiences that I didn't have any gauge on. I used to talk to God. I used to like literally set up court, and I would align all my stuffed animals, and each one represented a celestial figure. One was my mom, because I lost my mom when I was young. The biggest one was God, and then there was one that was Jesus. I had a whole thing, and I would hold court, and I would talk to them and say, this is what I want. And it was all around that age. So that's when spirituality, unbeknownst to me, became a thing. Now you jump to 1819. Now you're having your nodal return. The nodes are coming back. They are these points around the moon. They're not planets. They're not asteroids. They are mathematical points. There's a whole mythology about the dragon and all of these things. Too much to go into. I'm already running over. But at 1819, you have your first nodal return, and it's about switching gears into purpose, destiny. You're actively moving towards what you're longing for. You're making a decision. Most of us, am I going to college? Am I going to the workforce? What am I doing? Where am I going? You are now, remember at 18, we shift into the society looking at us like, okay, we're now officially an adult. We can vote now. We can, there's a little list of things that we can do now as 18, 19-year-olds that we couldn't do before. Still teenagers, but now it's our first launch into the world as adults. Now, jump to where your astrologer is right now, 36, 37, 38, in that age range-ish. Now you have it again, where now you're 18 years the wiser, but now you've likely, those of you with Taurus, Scorpio nodes, not that all of us, everybody feels the nodes, but when you're having a return or you're having an opposition, it is really pulling on you. So you likely have these career transitions. You have these life moments, destined moments. They're not always great, and they're not always easy. I love to say that the North Node is what we're not good at. We suck at it at first, but you are meant to keep striving for it. So if you've removed yourself from what you've been longing for, the nodal return comes up and it realigns you through whatever means necessary towards your destined path. So if you did have, and yours truly did, at the top of this thing, if you have experienced the career shift, or your trajectory completely changing course through whatever means, however it showed up for you, then that's the nodes doing their work. That is saying, all right, you're a little off course. And we know that you've been longing for this thing, so now we're going to create space for you to keep longing for that. Keep trying. It's trial and error with the North Node. You do something, it might suck, it might not land, it might not work, but all you're meant to do with the nodes is say, okay, but what did I learn? By tripping, what did I learn? Okay, now you try again, knowing what you've learned, and then you maybe fail a little bit more. Or you have to shift, you have to bob and weave, you have to adjust, but you have to keep longing for it. That your North Node is what you are destined for in this lifetime. So it's just about trying and doing. And we're actually going to continue what I just said. When the nodes shift into Aries and Libra now, for the next 18, 19 months, so the next year and a half, purpose shifts towards, hold on, I have it written down, bold, fearless acts and releasing people-pleasing, compromising yourself for some sort of relationship, maybe how you relate to the world, how you show up to the world. The North Node in Aries says you got to be bold. You got to be fearless about your dreams, your purpose, your destiny. Remember when you're 9 and you just have that raw sense of, I want to do this, so I'm going to do it. Mine was always, I want to play in the dirt pile. I would go across the street behind the houses and I would play in the dirt pile. You don't think about, oh my God, the shower and the nails I got to clean and I got to do this and I got to do that. No. So collectively, all of us have this sense of shifting our purpose and into action. It's just about doing. Aries is answering to Mars. So strategizing, filling yourself with passion, asking yourself, what keeps me up at night? Or what would? If you've been a little disconnected from all of this and your dreams and purpose, and you're just kind of in a mundane day-to-day flow, but not moving towards anything, nodes in Aries and Libra say, you got to get out of any relationship dynamics or shift relationship dynamics that aren't feeding your purpose, and you need to take it upon yourself to push towards your purpose. And you can suck at it. It's okay. You can make a wrong decision. Don't get discouraged. You just keep going. So we have a year and a half of that type of energy. Taurus, Scorpio's way more calculated, way more slow because it's earth and water. We're going into air and fire, yang energy. So get ready, because that is going to be a shift we all feel come the 18th of July. All right. Then we have, it's so funny because we have like this yin yang dynamic all month long, because then the most rebellious thing that we can do come later, the later half of the month, is using self-reflection as a healing act. Because this month we see Chiron station retrograde. Chiron is our wounded healer, our traumas, our triggers wrapped up into one little asteroid. And with that, hugging your wounds is the revolution. Embracing that. So maybe some of us go to therapy. Maybe some of us make a commitment to see a healer, get acupuncture, a massage therapist, like making the effort to consistently hug on yourself in whatever way embraces your wounds, embraces your trigger story, or the things that just send us into hyper mode. Maybe some of us haven't used our voices like we need to. So when Chiron stations retrograde in Aries, it's now the revolution is televised. You start using your voice. You bring up what's in your heart chakra, but underneath it in your soul space, because Chiron is your soul space. And you pull it out. Chiron, did you hear that? Chiron's in Aries. The nodes are shifting into Aries and Libra. North node in Aries, south node Libra. We've got this double dose of, wow, the revolution is despite my fear, I go. Despite my palms sweating, I'm in action. But despite my fear, I go. Okay? That's the overall vibe this month. And we start off, let's just dip into the week. That's your monthly overview. Now, I will say too, I'm going to be sending monthly horoscopes for all 12 signs, sun, moon, and rising signs in your inbox. So if you're not on the Cosmic News Train, please, please, please do yourself a favor. Scroll up on the episode you're on right now and click the link for the Cosmic News Train. Put your email in and you'll get my horoscopes, and you'll get, because I send monthly and I send weekly. So that's all going to be in your inbox, and that will be astrology plus card readings for your sun, moon, and rising signs, okay? But Now, let's shift to the vibe this week. We start with Monday, July 3rd, the Capricorn Full Moon. Now, I misspoke last week when I said that this was pulling on, we're now shifting out of 2022 and into 2023, but I was wrong. I misspoke. This is actually pulling on the December 23rd, 2022 Capricorn new moon. So that means when we get to the Aquarius full moon at the top of August, now we're going to be looking at the Lunar New Year, and that will be the first major lunar event that will pull on the top of this year. So we have one last little 2-week roundup of what was happening at the very end of 2022. So as you were prepping for 2023, emotionally, mentally, spiritually, we're looking back at that. So whatever was going on those last couple of weeks into the first week of January, that new moon, the seeds planted during the December 22nd Capricorn new moon, those seeds are now culminating. They're now harvesting this week. So that's a turning point. And that's where this theme of success, what does it look like? Maybe some of you out there are going to get a promotion. Some of you are going to get a raise. Some of you are going to have to ask yourself, am I working too hard? Am I not as present on the home front within my VIP relationships? Or is it vice versa? Am I too comfortable at home and I need to focus more on my priorities, on my ambitions, what I want to achieve? Okay. We have 17 eye roll aspects this week. I'm so sorry. Remember, the eye roll aspects, as I love to call them, are a combination of squares, oppositions, and quincunxes. Quincunxes to me are the worst. Squares are frustrating, but an action will help heal the tension. Oppositions don't have to always be like a full moon energy, right? Where the sun and the moon are opposite each other. That is a full moon. Those can also be aha moments and epiphanies. But quincunxes are these frustrating, annoying aspects that is just more like you just have to kind of surrender to whatever's happening. Not always, but you kind of just have to say, because sometimes it's just like the things are out of your control. And with a quincunx, when it's like that, you just have to say, okay, it just is. And because it just is, I have to, instead of fighting and trying and just grinding your teeth, you go, okay, all right, understood. You know, whether that's to the universe, to yourself, to a friend, a relationship, you just kind of have to go, okay, not ideal, but okay, sure, and move accordingly. Okay, so there's friction, frustration, plus epiphanies and aha moments with those eye roll aspects this week. And we've got like midweek, particularly, actually Wednesday and Sunday are the most eye rolly, and the other days have them, I will say, except for Friday. The nicest day this week to me is Friday. And then it's funny, not funny, but funny. This week, we start with a full moon and we end with a quarter moon. And quarter moons are those frustrating days, kind of annoying, kind of just like, ugh. Like, okay, sure. And it's in Aries, so we're looking at what you want versus what someone else wants, and they collide. So end of the week can be a little... Okay, so really quick, let's just jump to news board items. Daily doses are now full steam ahead. The paywall is up. You're gonna need your subscription to listen to your daily doses. Okay, remember, a daily dose of stars is my daily podcast, 2 to 5 minute episodes with a granular look at the flow of each day. We also, most importantly, discuss when the nodes of fate are direct. Let me tell you, this is a month where you're gonna want to activate your subscription to a daily dose. There is only one day this month where the nodes are direct. Doesn't mean that we can't have movement and forward motion towards your hopes, your dreams, your ambitions. We've got that written up in the lunar activity. But when the nodes are direct, that is when we have faded opportunities, Fated, fated opportunities to take our future in our own hands. You strategize when you're going to make a move. We only have one day this month. I've been telling you all year long, it is rare when the nodes are direct. And this is a perfect example. Previous months we've had, especially during eclipse season, we had the nodes direct for weeks at a time. It's 5 days, 7 days, 6 days, 4 days. One in July 2023. Just one day. And I'm going to prepare the daily dosers for that moment. So I really want you to consider activating that subscription. All you got to do is look up, and there's also a link in the show notes, so you can scroll up and just click it. Now, News Train, we've already talked about it. If you're not on the Cosmic News Train, that's my newsletter. I want you to get your monthly breakdown for your astrology and the card reading side of things, and I want you to get that in your inbox, make your life easier. So make sure you subscribe to that. And, that's free. That's just putting your email in. I don't spam you. Plenty of people will tell you. Graham doesn't spam you. I understand what it's like. I delete like 50 plus emails that are promotional in my email like every day. So I get it. I send you the stuff that I think and I know are going to be important for you to know. And last but not least, anybody in SoCal that is interested or that comes to the Line Hotel where I do my card readings on Tuesday. This Tuesday is the 4th of July, so I'm not going to be there Tuesday. I will be there Thursday from 5:30 to 7 p.m. So if you listen to this and you're a SoCal local and you were planning on coming to see me on the 4th, don't do it. Come see me on the 6th. And in the lobby during happy hour, that's where I'll be. Okay, so let's talk about where the moon is this week, and then we're going to talk about some planets, and then we're going to get out of here. So Capricorn moon, Monday, Tuesday, early in the morning, the moon switches. So when the moon's in Capricorn, we're looking at work, duty, ambition, drive, step by step, brick by brick, slow momentum because we're looking at Saturn, but also we have the full moon. So there's that turning point of success starting on Monday, going over the next 2 weeks. Then Tuesday morning, the moon enters Aquarius. Now we're about the collective. Capricorn moon can run a little depressive and isolating, so just keep that in mind. Now, when the moon shifts into Aquarius on Tuesday, now we're more community, collaboration, friendships, being with a collective. So Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, the moon shifts out of Aquarius into Pisces, where now we're in La La Land. We're more dreamy. We're more creative. Music, dance, poetry become themes. And also, just when we all need a little nap. So Thursday morning, Friday, and Saturday, the moon's in Pisces. That's where you just go. You run a little bit slow, but you also run really creative. The way to kind of survive any annoyances during Pisces moons, throw on your favorite song, throwback, nostalgia, dive into it, and dance around a little bit. Ignore the world. That can also be like the invisible realm. So where you're like, yeah, phone's on airplane mode. I'm out of here. Then Saturday afternoon, the moon enters Aries, where it will be Saturday, Sunday, into next week. We also have the quarter moon on Sunday in Aries, so that's, don't be surprised if you fight, you have any kind of friction on the relationship front, because it's what you want, what you're doing versus what someone expects or what someone else wants. So you gotta have to ask, is the action to take to get on the other side of any quarter moon frustration, is the action to take compromise? That's a biggie. So those are the moons. Let's talk about the planets really fast. Monday, Capricorn Full Moon. We've already talked about it. Wednesday, like I said, is the most eye-rolly day. There is a Mercury Chiron square. Hypersensitivity, hyper-emotionality on Wednesday. Be aware of what you say and how it can affect someone else. Now, that could be, I wish the whole world could hear that message, but Wednesday's a day where you might get really upset, or someone around you might get really upset, might hear something they don't want to hear. It's going to be tugging on their soft spots. So you got to watch it. Mercury's in Cancer, already afflicted, because Mercury in Cancer, Mercury's communication, Cancer's water. We're looking at, and we're looking at the moon in Aquarius that day. It runs chilly. It runs disconnected. It says things that can feel like an ice pick. So it's just, you just want to be aware. If you feel like you're about to say something that you don't mean, or you say you're intentionally wanting to be mean, just be aware, okay? On Thursday, Mars has a quincunx to Neptune. Annoying. Mars in Leo. I want what I want. Quincunx Neptune, but it could be so many other things. Those two concepts are not getting along, right? Wanting what you want, but having too many options, or like being unclear about what the right next step is. You might not be able to uncover what the right next step is on Thursday, all right? Now, there is a Mercury-Uranus sextile late that night. That's forward motion, a good idea. Just, so the Mars-Neptune quincunx is 8:48 a.m., so early in the morning. That's Pacific Standard. All the times I give you are Pacific Standard. But then late that night, Mercury comes in and goes, ooh, wait, I think we can move forward like this. Friday, Pisces moon is looking like the nicest day, free flowy day, just great energy all day on Friday. So, chef's kiss. Remember, if you do experience any kind of frustration or anger or things not going your way on Friday, remember, just tap into the energy of Pisces: music, dance, poetry, nostalgia. Don't overdo any kind of substances. I'll just put that out there. But just tap into that energy. Let's see here. Saturday got some eye roll aspects with the moon. We'll talk about that in the daily doses. Don't worry. And then Sunday, like I said, the Aries quarter moon at 6:48 p.m. There's a Mars quincunx Pluto, power struggle, power dynamic. Someone might be doing some things behind the scenes that aren't very nice or aren't very cool. You might find yourself fighting with an authority figure on Sunday. Now, authority figure can be like your landlord. It can be a manager. It can be a VIP relationship of sorts. But Pluto digs up, unearths, things hidden and things buried. And Mars in Leo is not afraid to talk about it and to throw it in your face. So just be careful. But there's also a Mercury-Neptune trine that day. It's just, again, this is like and energy. It's not, you're going to have a bad day or you're going to have a good day. It can be good and bad. Okay? There's layers to this ish. Mercury-Neptune trine is all about dreams and talking about it, making a plan, or just, maybe not. Since we're looking at water, Cancer and Pisces, this is more like fantasy land and talking about your fantasy life, your dream life. It's good to just get it out from inside you and out into the world. Dream. Float on Sunday, okay? Sending you big hugs. I know this was a long podcast, but we had a lot to talk about with the month and the week. And that's what we've got. I'll see you on social media. I'll see you in your inbox. Have a phenomenal week. And I'll see you on the Daily Dose of Stars. Look that up in your podcast platform. You don't really have to. Scroll up in your show notes and click the link. All right. Have a great one. Bye. This is Graham Breitenstein, and you've been listening to This Week with Drunk Astrology. If you want to follow Drunk Astrology, head to Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, and hit that follow button. And if you want to learn how to put astrology in motion for you, head to drunkastro.com and get on the insider list. If you haven't already, subscribe, rate, and review this podcast on Apple, Spotify, and Google platforms. Tune in next week for yet another opportunity to work in sync with the stars. Thanks for listening, and I'll see you soon.